I think we'll repeat that strategy. You guys are much better at finding each other than we are trying to connect you. So, delighted you weren't up too late, and we've got you back here first thing this morning. So, what Mark and Brendan and Aaron and I wanted to focus on this morning was some of the elements of your campaign that we think are vital from a global operational perspective. So from our perspective, these are some of the things which we think are especially important in your interface with the global staff and with the global campaign. And so we want to have a conversation this morning about a couple of these, similar to the format we used yesterday when it came to our conversation about media. But allow me, before we start, I'm going to give you a couple of quick reminders, if I can. The first thing is that I wanted to remind you that this afternoon we will be getting you to vote on our Host Choice Award. Now, for those of you that this is your first Congress, each year we let you, based upon the information available to you, pick a nation or a host that you think would be particularly worthy of getting an award. And so Aaron can answer more questions about that when we get you to vote a little bit later. But there will be, we want to make sure that you know that you're going to be at the ballot a little bit later on, in time for us to have that done before dinner. I wanted, if I could, to just mention a couple of things that we're going to be emphasizing in this global operations discussion. I'm going to start with something that we've already said, and we're going to probably say this 2 or 3 times. Because we all now have many choices of how we can communicate with each other. In Shanghai, we all made a decision that we would try to limit those choices to a couple of primary vehicles. The first is that Brendan is your primary point person. He is 100% efficient on email. 99. Oh, I don't think maybe just with me, Brendan. Meaning that you can be guaranteed if you send Brendan an email, he will read it and he will respond to it and he'll get you an answer as soon as he can, and will interface with us. But the other thing in terms of, and that's to do with interfacing with the global team. But the other thing is when you're trying to talk to each other and you want to collaborate and brainstorm in the way that you are in person during the Congress each year, we all picked to continue to work through Basecamp or Group Hub. And is there anyone in the room that does not use Group Hub? Is there anybody in the room who's not used it so far? You don't? Okay, good. Any other question down here? Okay, because I'll tell you, one of the things is, am I using the right word, Brendan? You can chime in here if I got the wrong word. Everybody still calls it Group Hub? Yep. Okay. Yep. This is, we get lots of positive feedback about this, and this was what you chose the last two.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Yep.
This entire morning I've been sitting up here and I kept forgetting what today was. And it was not St. Patrick's Day, because that's on Saturday. Spring in the States, I think, starts next week. Can somebody else help me figure out what today is? No, it's still something else. Oh, that's right. It's Jonathan's birthday. Now, if we can all sing him a nice little happy birthday song, it'll make his morning. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
Whoa.
down there, so I'm going to bring you here.
Oh, well, okay. Well, fantastic. Oh, my gosh.
Before we have to start, you have to do the whole thing.
Okay. So now how about a happy birthday in French, and then in Russian, and in Chinese, and then, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know, we initially had this Congress 1 week earlier, and we moved it, and it wasn't until like 3 months later that I suddenly realized it fell on my birthday, but anyway. Yes, and we do have an excuse for a party tonight, so. Yeah, it means it coincides with the end of our work session, so thank you all very much. I very much appreciate that. Well, we'll get to work. Okay. So we wanted to get through a few specific timely things associated with making sure that you guys don't get, here's the reason I bring up the group hub stuff. We don't want you to have too many interruptions to your day. So the idea is that if you're just operating through group hub, you'll be guaranteed not to miss anything, but also it means you can filter what conversations you want to participate in throughout the world. So that's certainly one area that we want to make sure that we've emphasized to everybody, because it's only effective if everybody is using it. And I think we've only got a certain percentage of people are using it. If you were all to decide you wanted to abandon it and come up with a new vehicle, we could do that. But it seemed to be almost unanimous in Shanghai that everybody preferred that as a vehicle. So if you're not using Group Hub, know that sometimes we'll only notify you about things through Group Hub. So if you don't respond through that, you know, maybe your invitation to the next Congress will only come through Group Hub. So keep an eye on it, okay? A couple of other things that, you know, the team asked that we kind of highlight, that we're going to talk more about shortly this morning, is we want to emphasize a lot to you today by putting it up on the signs that these are the brands from a global perspective that we're advancing, because sometimes those change each year, so it's our responsibility to tell you that. Also that we want to emphasize that we really want you to be thinking about the fact that we've all done only a mediocre job, I think, in terms of reporting data early enough, data and content. So whether it's qualitative information about what we're learning, what you're doing on the campaign, or whether it's quantitative information, we really need to have, I think, all do a better job at being able to collectively report that data. So that's certainly another area that we think is really important. We also want you to focus on leveraging the existing global networks in the room. I don't think, I mean, you guys are starting to talk to each other, but I don't think people quite realize how we actually have, with Global Entrepreneurship Week, an almost a very comprehensive set of networks. If you look at YBI and you look at Endeavor, you look at people like the State Department bringing in all their embassies, but more importantly, if you look at all the networks that people like Todd from TEDx, or Mark Naga from Startup Weekend, or Nick Seguin, and you know, when I think of all these people that we consider to be part of our global community who are very keen to help each other, you actually have access to an extraordinary array of networks in all of these countries. I don't think we're probably leveraging that enough. And it's not that you need to be doing international stuff. It's just that those large global networks will help you reach other people in your own country. The other element that I'm going to kind of kick it off with is a quick discussion about our interest in, and I'm not sure if we have a slide on this, but a quick discussion on our interest in getting your help to join the global team in reaching out to get nations involved who aren't currently part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And I know we have a list of nations that we would like to get your awareness of that we have not got involved. I talked to Ashok Rao on Tuesday, and I said, you know, one of the reasons that we wanted to have the chairman of TIE on the program is that I need to tell you, you know, we believe that our campaign in India should be bigger. So one of the reasons that we would like to talk to some of you is, for some of the campaigns, we want to give you more help. We want to bring more people onto your close core network of strategic partners whether it be because Shelley turns around and says, I've got a really active entrepreneur ambassador who wants to put a team of people to help you, or more importantly, whether it's because there are people within these global networks that can turn around and say, I think I know how to be able to get the universities involved. So I know in the US, on the US campaign, there was a big success at the beginning at getting universities and a very inadequate success at getting high schools. So it came down to working out who is the right person to be able to build that connection and that bridge into the high schools. So certainly we want to make sure that as we move forward that we can do the same with you in terms of reaching out to others. So I know I know one of the things that we, forgive the abbreviation, but one of the parts of the world, for example, that we're not very strong is in the stands. Do we have anybody from, I'm trying to see if they're in the room. I know not everyone's picked up their country nameplate this morning, but do we have any of the stand? Okay, can I, so great, thank you. We chatted last night about this. And I said, you know, you can give us, for example, I think possibly better insights than we can get from anywhere else in terms of how you go about approaching involving some of your neighbors. Do we have a microphone that we could bring over here? Because I'd like to just begin this discussion, and then we're going to run some others with Mark and Aaron and Brendan. But can you just comment, for example, on what you may or may not be able to do in some of the neighboring countries that are not part of Global Entrepreneurship Week? And as a quick reminder, if you want to look up and see if someone's a part of Global Entrepreneurship Week, just look in the back of your impact report, or if you don't have it with you, look in the back of your program, because almost every nation who participates in Global Entrepreneurship Week is here at the Congress. So comment on, for example, the kind of guidance that you could either give us, plus maybe the kind of help you can be in helping us to think about how we get a new country involved.
Hello, my name is Esen. I am from Kyrgyzstan. It's in Central Asia. So we are in Global Entrepreneurship Week for 2 years. In the beginning, we started with like approximately 20 events, but this year we had more than 30 events. We involved more than 5,000 people. And this year we also helped another country, Kazakhstan, to involve in Global Entrepreneurship Week. And this year we also want to involve another country, Tajikistan. But we are afraid that there are also 2 countries, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, which are really close. They are like considered as authoritarian regimes. So the governments of these countries are not interested in for entrepreneurs to be active in the economy. So the government wants to control everything. So in this case, maybe